Hi folks, and welcome back to the allotment. There is a big smile on my face today. I'm very, very excited because, the end has been in sight for a long time with the greenhouse, but today is the day. Apart from the glass, I tell you what, I can't find a glazier locally that is giving me a quote. I've asked for loads of quotes and just don't get anything back. Our local one in my actual town went out of business kind of like a year ago. So I've been trying to get hold of even quotes for the glass, which is going to be scary expensive, I know. But I've got all the Patreon money stored away. I'm ready to spend it on the glass, but I just can't actually get hold of it. So I just want to get this one out because in the wind it is so loud. And when that has been replaced, I've got one up here I need to replace as well. This is just a bit of Perspex. And I actually have a bit of spare glass for this, so I'm going to cut to size. And a little panel here and some of the corner panels. For now, I've put the broken panel back in the greenhouse actually, just because it makes such a big difference to the temperature in there. And today, I'm so excited. It really feels so close to the end. It's about 5 o'clock after work on a Wednesday. And a Sunday, I came up without the camera and I just potted around the allotment all day. It was wonderful. I spent maybe like 4 hours up here, and what I've done is loads of tidying. You wouldn't believe it to look at it, it's one of those. But what I've done is mostly kind of around the back and the sides. There's still a bit of a mess under my feet here. But look, it's a bit haphazard, but I've got a load of slabs down, and that is fantastic because this next door is an old compost pile that is just continuously, as soon as spring starts and summer, this will just go so high and just climbs into all here. There's brambles and everything. Tries to get under the greenhouse and into the greenhouse, tries to invade. So this is just a nice little, I don't know, nothing's getting under this sort of thing. So it's just so nice. And just down here, this is a bit more temporary until I can get some more slabs down here. But it would be really nice to just keep this free, keep this as a nice clear path. I don't love the idea of strimming right up against the glass and that kind of thing. You know, you never know if you're gonna A, lose your balance and fall into a greenhouse, very bad, or B, flick up a stone or something and shatter a glass pane, which is bad, but definitely not as bad as falling into it. The other thing I've done is just a little bit of a tidy over here. I don't know if you remember, but this has just been complete chaos. It's still pretty chaotic around, but there's lots more. It's a bit more organized chaos, I know what I'm looking at. For example, in here, this is just a black bin liner that I've completely filled with rubbish just on Sunday from various bits and bobs like tucked away. There's still the kind of potting tables that I'm going to disassemble and recycle what I can. A lot of it is really rotten though. It's kind of rotting from the ground up. And there's sort of two phases now. We're right on the cusp of like allotment maintenance starting to really ramp up. I think I've got until April, but once you get into April and May, that's when really a lot more of the maintenance stuff, the weeding and the mowing of the grass paths, the strimming. I do have a new strimmer that I got for my birthday, which I'm excited, like a battery powered one. So excited to use that, but we've just got this little period now where the main two things that I want to do are sorting like structurally the allotment, so getting the beds ready, bed prep. It's a bit late, but getting well-rotted manure down is one of the benefits of having well-rotted manure. You can put it on much later. If you've got the fresh stuff, you want to get that on before winter, but if it's well-rotted, I can get it on now. I don't want to sow into it, but I can use it as a mulch and it will tidy up the beds, suppress the weeds, control the moisture for the upcoming season. I'm so excited. It worked so well last year. So a lot of bed prep, a lot of tidying, as you can see. And the other main thing, of course, is sowing. It's time for me to get sowing. We're kind of just at the point now where I'd be starting to think about tomatoes, but that is why I want to get the greenhouse done. And I've been in a little bit of a rush, getting it done as quickly as I can. Because the greenhouse, I can get away with putting some of the more tender things. In the polytunnel, they're not going to survive as well. I did as well, believe it or not. Spend loads of time in here tidying, but once again, it just looks a bit more like a reorganized mess. I've got all my auto pots kind of cleared out and ready. I've filled bags with more spent compost to be used in various kind of potting mix recipes throughout the rest of the year. I've sowed a load of early crops. There's kind of 5 lines of like some quick lettuce that I'm hoping I can get cropped before any of the summer plants go in, the tomatoes et al. Some radish and that kind of thing. First time growing in this ground in the polytunnel. It's very, very exciting. Everything back here continuing to grow really nicely. I forgot that right at the back there. I did forget about that chili though. Not good. Seedling check, not too much to update on, to be honest. I've moved the cloche onto the flowers because these are the sensitive ones. loads more cosmos, but it looks pretty much the same as last time. And the same is true for the rest. I did on Sunday as well sow a load of aubergines, but look, I got carried away halfway through doing them. I've not actually covered them with compost or watered them, so let me do that quickly. I have absolutely no idea what sidetracked me. Maybe someone came and spoke to me, or maybe I just got bored and moved on to a different job, pottering around on Sunday. But I've got a few aubergines this year. I'm going for the pinstripe, and Grown Local has sent me a few. Link in the description for Grown Local as always. I think he's got a deal on some of the quad grows at the moment, so I'll put that in the description. Have a little look. But from Grown Local, I've got some green and white aubergines, which at first I was a little bit nervous about and kind of worried that they weren't going to be particularly palatable. They're like long, they look a bit weird, they look a bit scary, but I'm going to give them a go anyway. We were talking about it on Potty Mouth Garden Club and Jessie said they're worth a go, so we'll see how they come up. The brassicas looking a lot more healthy now, especially the kale, so that's fantastic. The beetroot not looking great though. I'm wondering if maybe it's old seed that I've used on the beetroot. I wonder if beetroot likes a fresher seed. I'm not sure if these aubergines are really going to get going. I think they need heat to germinate, but we're going to see. And as soon as the greenhouse is done, as soon as we've got the staging up, I can move them into there. The broad beans though, these have started popping up, which is very exciting. This is the one I had a little dig for the other day, so hopefully the rest start to come. I love it. Broad beans are so strong. They kind of, it's like a little earthquake. You see where they're pushing the compost up. It's very cool. Spring onions just starting. One at the back there. And oh, something else I did. I found something that I'd completely forgotten about. I found a box basically of strawberries. I was going to say in a pot, but it was this pot, and you can see there's still some runners in here that have kind of, or crowns, or I don't know what you call them, but they're still viable. So I've just buried a load in a trough. I don't know how these have survived, honestly, but I couldn't bear to just throw them in the bin. They're kind of soldiered on. So I thought I'd pop them in a trough, and you know, the ones that look pretty healthy and successful, I can kind of divide and put out somewhere on the plot at some point. But that's it, that's the updates. Oh wait, no it's not, there's one more update. Look at this just outside the tunnel. The accumulating timber pile, these scaffolding boards, and look, this is the greenhouse sleeper. This is the one that was rotting away. So if you've somehow missed why I had to replace the greenhouse base, this is it, look at it. It is completely mullered, this one. So I don't even know if I'm gonna reuse this one for a little bed, but the other two at the end there, I think I might just pop those in for some kind of raised bed somewhere or something like that. They're gonna rot down, but you know, even if they're rotting like this, you still get a good 5 years out of them, sort of thing, probably. As long as you know what to expect, it's okay. Maybe I'll line them with compost bags or something like that. And do you remember in the orchard area as well, a few episodes ago, well, quite a few episodes ago, my parents are up and I had them planting spring bulbs, and they're just coming up now. This looks like a load of tulips, and there's a few other little mysterious ones popping up. And I think this does kind of go to show that actually our site does run a little bit cold, certainly cold compared to our back garden and other places. You know, I've seen a lot of other places where the tulips are out and all that kind of thing. All the bulbs over here, quite far back. Just thought that was a little bit interesting. But the main event. In the car boot, we have the greenhouse staging. It's here. It's quite late. I think it's gonna get really chilly, but I'm gonna get this out and see how much I can build. I am so excited. This arrived yesterday on Tuesday and I've just been like itching, absolutely itching to get this out and get started building it. Oh, I cannot wait until it's fully in the greenhouse. New glass in there. I actually can't wait. It is bloody heavy though. So I hope I can get it in the greenhouse. Tell you what it is, it's all the weight is down this bottom end. So you try and pick it up in the middle and away. I'm just wondering if building it inside the greenhouse is actually the best idea. I think it is. This one is precarious. This one really does not want to be in my hands right now. Use the chin. Use the chin. Okay. We're in. I think, yeah, better to build it inside rather than build it outside and realise that it doesn't fit through the doors. Ooh, okay. Okay then folks, so as you can see, it's day 2. It got very dark. I was working away and I didn't have a head torch or anything, but do you remember how earlier in this greenhouse kind of rebuild series I was saying that this is just like soul sapping because I'm just rebuilding something I already had. There was no excitement to it, no real kind of new exciting thing that I could get behind. Oh, it's hay fever season. But this staging for me has been the new and exciting part. So as soon as this arrived, you know, you could see my excitement and I've just wanted to be down here working on this all the time. And we've got the kind of shells up now. So you can see this is a seedling tray. This is all from Copper Grey. I saw an advert on Instagram and I couldn't resist. And I'm so glad I did save up. This is all my own money, but I'm so glad that I saved up and spent some money on this because it's just giving me this final push, this final excitement, and it looks really good. I'm really happy with it. I'm still trying to figure out the best configuration. I had imagined that I was gonna, you know, just keep all the new shiny stuff in here. And I think what I might actually do is put this seedling tray, which is huge, by the way. I'm gonna have, I think, 5 shelves on here. There's still a bit more building to do. But that is just so much room for seedlings. I'm so excited. And they were saying as well, this is really strong stuff, the actual shelves, especially once you put a few more in. So you can move up to putting pots in these as well later on in the season. One thing that surprised me is that these trays from Copper Grey, they have drainage in, which I wasn't expecting actually. I thought I'd be able to bottom water. And unfortunately as well, I did think, oh, quick fix, just put one of the kind of Wilco gravel trays in there, but it doesn't quite, well, it does fit actually. It's a little bit of a squeeze and that's not ideal, and certainly if you're spending a bit of money. There's no affiliate link or anything at the moment. They might give me one later on, so do check in the description if you're in the market. There's nothing at the moment, but if you are looking at buying one of these, just beware that you still might have to spend a few pennies on these gravel trays if you want to bottom water. If you're not bothered about that and you don't mind a bit of top watering and then it kind of filtering down, you probably won't have to water the trays below, then that's fine. It's not something you have to worry about. But I do think if I put this in the other greenhouse, the second greenhouse is almost fully automated. So I've got a much nicer vent in the window. I don't have one in here at the moment at all. And I've got the louver vent. So on really hot days, that greenhouse gets much more ventilation than here. I couldn't get a louver vent to fit on this greenhouse louver, so it actually makes more sense for this to be the potting, the working greenhouse where I get all the trays ready and then migrate them into that greenhouse. That's what I did last year. And I loved going in that greenhouse every time to check on the seedlings. It was wonderful. So I think I might do that again, but there is an awful lot of stuff in there. So for now, I'm just gonna finish up working on the staging, and I'm not too sure what I'm gonna do with all the rest of the space in here. It's quite exciting, and I'm a bit worried about it becoming a dumping ground. So definitely some final season plants in here, but you know, it remains to be seen. I'm not sure exactly at the moment, and I'm figuring it out as I go, and I'll probably change it around a few times before I finally find the most perfect configuration, I guess. You can see I've immediately, as soon as I got the tops on these, immediately just started filling it with stuff, but that's kind of what it's there for, you know. I thought I'd do initial kind of first impressions on this. It's not a full review video, like I say, I don't really do those very often because I like to put something really through its paces, you know, test it out for a little while. Initial thoughts, really high quality, nice feel, no sharp bits. Had a few little difficulties getting it together. Some fiddly bits, these little sort of bolt heads that go on, I don't know what you call them, but they're nice and kind of capped off, so if you wander past them and brush against them, you just kind of glide right on by, you know, which is quite nice. The instructions, I will say, as always with anything like greenhouse related, leaves a little to be desired. Some of the pictures are just a little low resolution, you know, a little blurry, but it definitely got the job done. You just have to be a bit patient with it. I feel like maybe I was a little bit unfair to the instructions actually, and I did want to shout out, this is a very useful little instruction on how to put these legs to the top frame if you're doing it by yourself and the angles to use. This was really helpful. Make sure you take your time and read it nice and slowly as you're going through. One mistake I did make is the top frame of these, kind of, you have these little braces, so you've got the front edge and then you've got the length here that goes along the width or the kind of depth, and you only do that for the top one. I'm mentioning this just in case someone is putting these together and they've watched my videos. When you come to do the subsequent stages, you just use the front and the back, and they screw right into here. I accidentally made the mistake of building these two thinking that the together frame would then slot in here, which is not what you do. I did also install the first one upside down, but I blame that on it being completely dark and me not having a torch. But so far, really impressed with these. Nice and sturdy. I've bolted these two together, which is an option. You could get 2 3-foots together. And then I've got the 6-foot staging in here, and it's rock solid. And I'm gonna add more shelves in. I've got the 3-tier option, so I'm gonna have 3 shelves, and then I can put stuff on the floor as well. It is really, really nice once you get these little supports in for the extra shelves. The whole thing just becomes pretty much rock solid. It really doesn't feel like it's gonna go anywhere, especially when you get some weight on this as well. And I love how configurable this is. You know, all these pre-drilled holes just allow you to set the sizes. I've gone for quite a big gap between here so that I can put any taller seedlings or, you know, maybe chilies or something like that. I just thought it'd be good to have a little bit more room here, and then probably the bottom 2 are going to be for storage pots and all the assorted rubbish that you get. But I'm so pleased with them. I think they look so, so good. I'm really, really happy that this thing is coming to an end. So, you know, just now I was saying about these trays having holes in. Well, I emailed the makers over at Cobra Grey and asked if they had a version without the holes, if you want to use bottom watering like I like to use, and they said they've actually just started working on a product which is basically a vinyl sticker which you can inlay into here, and they said that should be ready in about 2 weeks. So they're going to send me some of those and I'll give them a little go. But they did also say that actually they had been designed with this in mind, putting a solid tray inside, and they do fit just fine. I think the first time I went to do it I was just a little bit nervous. You've just got to push them in. It's not much effort or anything like that. So if you want to just use these, you can. I've got all the slats in now. It looks so, so good, but no, it's that little awkward bit that I don't really want to do, which is probably putting this in the other greenhouse, and the other greenhouse has just been a dumping ground for so, so long. So I'm not sure if that's what I want to do now, but God, I'm so happy. I'm so, so pleased with this. It looks so good. Now that I've, when I first put them together, I didn't tie them together as well, and when they're tied together, oh, they just look so chunky and substantial. You can as well get toppers for these, you know, like the traditional, you get a little thin bit up here. I didn't go for those, and to be honest, I don't really know why. Maybe I should have, but I don't know. They're probably quite easy to put on after the fact, so I might look at getting that at some point. What my plan is to have this as kind of like a potting bench. They do sell a potting bench over at Cobra Grey, but it was significantly more expensive than these. I'll put the prices on screen if you do want to know. Having put these together, and having had a bit of a play with them, I think they are really, really well priced. Like I say, I spent my own money on these, and it was a bit of a treat to myself. Traditionally, you know, on an allotment, you would just cobble something together with bits of old wood, and it would last you a few years. But for this, I really wanted to go all out as a little treat for myself. So thank you to everyone for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's nice to see the greenhouse taking on a bit more of a positive spin in my life, isn't it? Thank you ever so much to all my patrons, and especially my Chili Pepper tier patrons: Tony, Bill, Pam, Louise, Mel, Michael, Denise, Socks in the Garden, Andrew and Sarah. Sorry I forgot to mention you last time. Hopefully I'll see you again in the next one.